We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hello, and we are live. Hey Brainy, how you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Not bad. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We are here to host and moderate a debate between newcomer BM Furball and Lemonbird. It was going to be Flat Out Hero, but unfortunately, for some reason, he's not available. And if you look at the recent video on his channel, Summit's happened because I don't think he put that up. What do you reckon, Brainy?
I didn't actually get a chance to see what had occurred, so this was news to me, but obviously I'm happy to.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, his the most recent video he put up was him admitting that he sucks black penis. Which is obviously not, either he's had his phone stolen or someone's hacked his account or something.
It could still be true, but that doesn't mean that was him posting.
Yeah, exactly. So this debate is between BM Furball and Lemonbird. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. Thanks for joining us again, Lemonbird, on short notice. How you doing, Furball?
Doing pretty good.
All right. Looking forward to... We've not really moderated and hosted a debate like this before, so we're going to keep it as informal as possible. Brainy and I are cut in if we feel like the conversation isn't going anywhere or, if it's getting too rowdy or anything. But Brainy and I will kind of sit back and let you guys just get at it, really. Any thoughts, Brainy, about what's going to happen?
Well, not really. I mean, I was interested to see Flat Out, but I'm also interested to hear Lemonbird present his opinion on things. Obviously, we've had it back and forth a few times in the Discord, so it'll be fun to hear. I mean, it'll be fun to hear his argument.
Yeah. So how do you guys want to do it? Do you want to just give a wee intro for each other first? Just 5 minutes, talk about why you're here and why you believe the Earth is the shape that it is.
Sure.
Do you want to go first, Lemonbird?
Sure. It looks flat. I'm here to learn what the other side has to explain different phenomena that appear flat. And I'm interested to see what develops.
Okay. Is there any particular reasons why you think that it's flat?
In the last debate, we went over the lack of air pressure unless gravity exists as a real force. Without its invocation, there would be no stratification and no air pressure without an enclosed system with a firmament over it. So there's that. There's the optical phenomena like the sundogs, which appear to be a reflection off of a curved glass surface of the sun. And there's also the laser tests, which appear to look like flat land for miles with very little, if any, drop-off. So there's that also. And there's also the infrared imaging, which appears to show up to 1,000 miles of flat land.
Okay.
So those are the main things.
All right, great. And Furball, do you want to give a wee introduction to yourself?
Yeah. I have been into the flat Earth debate or questioning for about 3 years now. First heard about it after watching a podcast, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I didn't understand how people could think that way, so I wanted to understand it better. So I started listening to podcasts, mostly flat Earth side, Jaredism and Globebusters, and people of that sort. And I've been doing that, driving my wife crazy for the last 2-3 years. I am also active duty military, so I'm proof that the government is behind the anti-flat Earth movement because there's a military force trying to take everyone down, apparently.
You do realize that's for internal communications, right? We're not supposed to say that live.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry. Can we kill this?
I'll edit it later on. It'll be fine.
You're
Okay,
okay
yeah,
because you didn't mention the shield check.
Yeah, definitely didn't mention the shield check.
Okay. I created an account or a channel of my own about 2 months ago because rather than annoy my wife at home just watching YouTube videos in bed, I'm actually in South Korea right now. I'm here for a year by myself. So now that I'm alone and I've got nothing else to do, I decided to start up a YouTube channel, and I've been going for about 2 months now. And all my videos, my goal is not to bash flat earthers. It's not to, because there's plenty of videos that do that, and Craig, you do it amazingly.
Thank you.
My goal was to take observations that I saw every day that you might not think about, that might be just everyday observations that I think lend credence to a globe Earth. And that's what most of my videos are about. Something you've never thought of before that leans towards globe rather than flat.
Fair enough. Just before we get going, I want to say a massive thanks to Red's Rhetoric for letting us use his platform for this debate. You guys are obviously probably all aware of what's happened to me, and I just want to say that the support you guys have given me has been phenomenal. And if anything, it's just going to make me stronger as a YouTuber. So yeah, thanks to everyone, and a massive thanks to Red's Rhetoric. Brainy, anything you want to say before we get going?
You keep just jumping on me. I'm new to all this. I don't even know what to say. Well, I'm really privileged, feeling very privileged to have been invited to help moderate this. This is kind of my first time moderating, so I mean, I'll jump in when I feel I need to, but otherwise I might hang back a little bit and obviously they got to do their debating. We're not in the debate. So yeah, I mean, I'm ready to learn, and I hope to do more of this in the future, but this is kind of new for me, so I'm just getting my feet wet.
Awesome.
My beaver wet. Getting my beaver wet.
Getting your beaver wet. Perfect. And congratulations on the 1,000 subs, Brainy.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And I don't know if anybody watched my latest video that just came out, which is kind of just a rehash of the 5K special because I had this vacation. But I'm currently on vacation, and when I get back, I'll be working on my 1K wet beaver special as I had promised.
I'll make sure that Brainy's channel is in the description and everything. So make sure you guys subscribe to him because he's absolutely hilarious. And it's great to have this wave of new debunkers on the scene that are really, really funny. But I think at this point, we'll just hand it over to you two guys. You just want to have a back and forward, ask each other questions, do what you need to. Off we go.
Yeah. If preferable, I'd like to stick on single topics as we move along, because a lot of these debates can go on tangents and not address the original question at hand. So that's the only thing that I request. And that I would also request that Lemon Bird, if I assert something that I have personally done, I would request that you accept that that is factual. I'm not going to make up. I'm not going to produce a 2-hour video that I shot 2 months ago right here to prove to you that I saw one thing. Is that acceptable?
Fair enough.
Okay. What would you like to go over as your first topic?
I guess the first thing I was talking about, the presence of a dome firmament covering the system and making an enclosed system being necessary to have pressurization and stratification of the air layers without invoking gravity.
Would you mind describing to me what your vision of this firmament is, just so I can properly understand where you're coming from?
Solid, crystalline glass, or it could be some sort of energy electromagnetic barrier, but I think it's probably solid.
Do you have an idea of where that barrier is, like around the Earth, where it's at?
I think they say that it's about 100 miles up, give or take.
What about on the edge of the Earth? Like if you were able to drive in one direction far enough and find the dome, where would that occur?
From the center, I think you'd have to go 10 to 15,000 miles from the center.
So for this topic, just to make sure I understand it properly, you're saying that to have a pressure gradient system on the Earth as we do, that would require a dome.
Yes, to keep the environment enclosed.
But if it was enclosed like that, if there was a dome, wouldn't it be a constant pressure system throughout the entire dome? What causes the lower part of the dome to be at a greater pressure than the upper part of the dome?
There may be multiple phenomena going on at the bottom of the air column. You have living organisms that are transpiring, breathing, in and out, having biological processes at the bottom. There's also electrical activity as you go up in the atmosphere, which may complicate things further. And also, I guess you're talking about a universal pressure distribution. That would only happen if the container was at saturation. It may not be at saturation. There may be several cycles going on that are in equilibrium, yes, but may not be in this super saturation where there'd be this pressure, bursting on the outside of the container, on the inside of the container universally throughout all parts. And also you have multiple gases within this column, and the gases may behave differently and stratify differently and may lead to a different pressure differential throughout the columns.
Would this, if we were to accept that gravity was real, wouldn't we see the exact same thing on a ball, though? You wouldn't necessarily require to have a dome to keep it enclosed, because that gradient system just keeps getting less and less and less as the heavier gases are at the bottom.
Well, if gravity is strong enough to hold the gases to the ball, then wouldn't we see the land just having a smooth profile throughout the globe? How would there be, mountains or features on the land at all if gravity is what we think it is? Wouldn't gravity just spit out as a smooth ball?
In the general scheme of things, the Earth from above is actually viewed as almost as smooth as a billiard ball in the size that it is. So your argument is kind of correct. There are minor variations on the surface. It's just the fact that we are so small and we're standing on it that we notice it. But from an astronomical perspective, the Earth is smooth.
Verbal?
Dead air.
No, sorry. Lemonbird, you there?
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you want to respond?
Another question that I've got, since I'll let you think on that for a second, but another question I've got that I've never gotten an answer for is that if it's buoyancy and density that cause heavier things to go down and lighter things to go up, and we are in an enclosed system that prevents things from escaping, lighter things should go up. That's why helium balloons go up. That's why, things fall down at different rates, is because they're heavier. But since the Industrial Revolution, we have been liberating tons and tons and tons of helium from the Earth, from other elements in the Earth. And we are using it kind of willy-nilly for balloons and ridiculous things like that scientists someday are going to get really mad about, because we're going to run out of helium. But with as much helium that humans have released into this enclosed dome over the last 200-300 years, shouldn't there be a thick layer of helium, of solid helium, at the top of that dome because it has risen up higher?
I guess that would be the case, yes, but electrical potential increases as you go up in the atmosphere. These atoms may be electrically fixed and bonded and fall back down in another form. I mean, we have ozone formation already in the current model, flat or round already. So maybe there's some sort of helium formation in the deuterium, tritium, water, who knows?
Are you saying that the helium itself transforms into something else, or are you saying that the helium binds to something else heavier and comes down?
I guess I'd say it transforms into something else.
Well, the only thing that helium could transform into would be hydrogen, which is even lighter.
That's
because
true.
elements degrade down, they don't degrade up. So unless a heavier element collided with that helium and made that heavier element bigger, the only thing that can happen to helium it could become ionized if the electrons are stripped off, but it can't grow in size because helium is, if I remember right, I'm not the smartest at science, I think helium is 2. Somebody correct me.
Yeah. Helium's the second lightest element.
Helium is 2. So if it were to degrade, it would degrade into 1, which is hydrogen, which is even lighter. So that would continue going up. And adding electrons and adding things like that don't increase the mass of any element enough to make them fall. It just changes their electrical charge.
Well, in that case, I'd have to look into that further. I'd have to invite some woo theory as to water formation or, whatever by another mechanism. There's other conspiracy elements out there saying that water is not what we thought it was, and that water forms by another process other than hydrogen and oxygen coming together, because the atomic masses that you get when you add hydrogen and oxygen together by certain volumes, you don't get the same volume of water that comes out of the equation. So there are people that say that water formation is not what we think it is by hydrogen and oxygen. Maybe this hydrogen is going through some other process and coming down as water or something else, if you want to, speculate like that, but I don't know.
But isn't that speculation right there? I mean, what you said. Sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah.
Brainy, do you want to just comment in the chat so Red can make you moderator in the live chat?
Sure.
Have you actually, because you mentioned that water transforming and things of that nature, that when you combine them, you don't get the same weights out. Have you personally looked at those actual equations? Yes or no? Have you looked at those?
Equation on paper, but I'm talking about the YouTube videos that say when you put the atomic masses and the weights of this much water with this much hydrogen with this much oxygen, the masses do not equal out.
There's energy that's lost in the water.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, Brady, is that the input and output masses, yes, you're absolutely correct. If you take two masses and you combine them, the input and output masses are not the same, because there's energy lost through radiation, there's energy lost through heat, there's energy lost through the combination. So the masses are different, yes, but the actual energy, if you were to break it down to the energy level, how much energy is in this and how much energy is in that, smash, now I've only got this much. The rest of that energy got out somewhere, and it is accounted for.
I'll jump in since there's dead air. I mean, remember, Lemon, that you can't. The law of conservation of mass says you can't create or destroy energy. So when those equations happen, there's always energy transfer. So you have to count for energy loss and gain, and there's other parts.
Fair enough.
Okay. If you want to talk about this, or mind if I move on to a different topic for a little bit?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I think we're kind of at a dead spot on here with speculation and science. You'd mentioned what you think the firmament is. I'm not a believer in the firmament, obviously, but I'm also a strong proponent of space and astronomy, and I've done a lot of research into that. I've got telescopes of my own. I've taken pictures of the sky and things that are out there outside what you would call the firmament. And as of yet, from my observations, I don't see anything that would tell me that what I'm seeing in space isn't real, that those are not physical objects out there, because I've observed planets, I've observed moons crossing in front of Jupiter, I've observed a supernova in a distant galaxy that was observed by other people. So what is your explanation for astronomy before we go down this a little farther?
Well, if they were covered by a firmament, then the stuff beyond probably can't be reached by us, and that's been probably embellished by NASA. When you look with your bare eyes,
we are not talking about NASA. I am talking about me.
Fair enough. When you look with your own eyes, you see blobs of light up in the sky. You don't see stuff that looks like terrestrial rocks.
That's not true. I have a telescope. I have seen Jupiter. I have seen its moons. You can even see the lines on Jupiter with your own damn eyes. You can put a telescope down and do it.
I bought my daughter, it wasn't an expensive one, just a £70 telescope for Christmas, and we have looked at things in the sky that were clearly more than just blobs.
15 years ago, I had a telescope that was $300 Canadian, and it could lock onto the damn thing and track it through the sky, so you didn't even have to follow it yourself. I mean, this is not new technology.
Are you looking at physical features or deformations of the firmament?
Okay, so you're saying, not my debate. Sorry.
Yeah,
let's step back and let the guys carry on.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at things in space that I can describe, that I can take pictures of, and that somebody on the opposite side of the planet at the same time that can see the same objects can look at the exact same thing. And we can predict them. You can predict the rotation of Jupiter. You can predict when the great spot is going to cross in front of the planet. You can predict when the moons and everything are going to go around it. And you can even predict shadows of moons on Jupiter. And I have seen those physically with my eyes. They're not blurs. They're not blobs. They're nothing else. And I know the videos you're talking about. And most of those people are trying to take pictures of stars with the Nikon P900 or 900 or the P1000. And I'll tell you, Lemonbird, that the focus at long distance on those cameras is shit. That's why you get blobs. When you actually have an optical device that can properly focus and you have it aligned properly, it's crystal clear what you're looking at. You're not looking at blobs. There are blobs in space. I'll give you that. But most of those blobs are astronomically farther than what we're talking about in regards to planets. So what would your explanation be for what I am observing when I look at Jupiter at night?
Basically, embellishments from that have influenced us from the mythology surrounding NASA. I hate to invoke that again, but the thing is, based off of the artist renditions that seem highly stylized and don't quite seem to comport with what we see with our own eyes and our own telescopes, maybe we're not being told about all that space actually is.
But if you look with a regular telescope, though, you still see the lines, you still see all that stuff. Nobody's artistic. The only difference is you can't see color because there's the lack of light.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't our debate, so I don't want us to keep jumping in, but the question that I would ask here is, have you, Lemonbird, had a telescope and done these observations yourself?
I had a low-power telescope, nothing real fancy back when I was younger, but I didn't really see a whole lot. I saw some twinkles in the sky when I looked through the telescope myself, but that was it. Nothing high-powered or anything like that.
I have
very high-powered
two telescopes of my own. Yeah, I've got two telescopes of my own. I actually have a 16-inch Truss Dobsonian that was about $1,500. It's not smart. You've got to know where to point it, and it's huge. It's a beast to move around. But I can see the cloud tops of Jupiter. I can see the moons of Jupiter. I can see definition of things. And this isn't influence from NASA. This is actually in one of my videos. The first time I pulled out my 16-inch Dob and I was looking at Jupiter, I'm looking at it. I have not prepped my mind with anything. Yes, I've seen what NASA has said, but I haven't done any research. What's happening on Jupiter today? I'm just brought my new telescope out and I looked. And as I'm looking at Jupiter, I can see the disk of it, and I could barely see the storm because that's really tricky to see. But I saw a really bright spot right in the middle of Jupiter that didn't look like normal from images. And I saw a perfectly circular dark spot also on the cloud tops of Jupiter. And I had no idea. This was my first observation. And I looked at it for a half hour trying to figure out what the hell was going on. So I got my phone, and I actually downloaded an app that would show me what Jupiter's supposed to look like right now. And what it showed me was that one of the moons of Jupiter was physically in front of it. That was my bright spot. And a shadow of another moon was going across the cloud tops. That's what I was looking at. That is what I physically saw before any other source told me it should be there. How is that possible if that is not a physical object in space?
Well, I mean, I'm just exploring other options as opposed to, the Earth being this rock that's, hurtling through the solar system. There may be bodies up there that are revolving over us.
So you accept that it might be a physical body up there?
I would say that it's a light, but there may be crystals up there. There's a scholarship looking into stars as crystals. Which would invite in, the electric, universe theory that I'm a fan of.
What did I observe?
With Jupiter, I'd say a light.
Yes, it was a light because that's how you see things. That's how you see things. But what was it?
It was probably, I guess I would go, metaphysical and say that the stars up there are probably souls or angels or whatever. And the planets are wandering stars. I don't know if they were alive, like they say in Velikovsky's mud fossil theorem, that says that the planets were actually physical beings that lived, gave birth, had electrical activity and everything, and they were mythologized throughout history. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I guess I would invite in other possible definitions, electrical or whatever, for what's happening up in space. But it appears that, maybe space isn't quite what we think it is. I mean, how do we even measure distances to stars accurately? Southern Protestant has a site where he has loads of flat earth theorems, southernprotestant.com/flatearth.html. And he shows the philosophical problems with a medium that is nothing, but somehow we're trying to measure it off in space. How do you measure it with a ruler if there's no solid component in the space to judge your distances to begin with? And then on top of that, we're basing it off of a highly theoretical idea of what light is. Do we even fully understand what light is? I mean, we debunked the corpuscular theory of light as these particles, these discrete particles, and we can't even quite decide if it's a wave or a particle yet. So how can we even be certain what we're observing or how light is behaving in the first place? How do we know it's not curving, in space behind this, or being refracted through space? How do we know how far it's going? I mean, even the idea that the redshift can give you, some sort of measure on how far the stars is in doubt, because we see stuff that's redshifted that should be further away than the blue shifted stuff in front of the blue shifted stuff, and vice versa. And so there's a lot of gray area there as to what the heck, if anything, is going on in space.
So I've got a button for but I feel like you've completely missed the question that was actually asked. Furball, do you want to ask the question again and see if we can just get a direct answer?
I think I answered as a light that was behind dome deformation and maybe
but what is the light?
A solid object.
What is the light then?
And I think I also answered as possibly souls or living beings of some sort, spiritual or otherwise. Who knows?
Evident.
So magic. You're saying that's what I'm hearing is magic.
Unless you're going to get past the dome, I guess you'll have to take NASA's deceptive photos and
and we're not talking about NASA. We're not talking about
ideology
NASA.
Instead. So it just depends on what you're willing to believe.
Sorry, again, I'll just have to butt in. Furball made it quite clear at the beginning about things like NASA and that. He's not talking about NASA's observations. He's talking about the observations that he has made himself. And also...
But he'll filter his observations through probably what he's seen in the culture. NASA and otherwise, just like I did.
There was no filter. Lemonbird, there was no filter. The only filter was the lens in front of me. I had an impression of what these should look like, but that's physically what it looked like. And you can take a child that has never heard of NASA, put them up to your telescope, and they see the same thing you do. So if it's a soul, if it's a light, if it's something else like that, then we need magic explanations for it. The globe theory, the heliocentric theory, the theory that our body that we live on is a planet, one amongst several others that orbit our sun, fits observations. It completely fits observations. Absolutely fits observations.
But no observation is separated from an ideology. You can't make an observation without having a basic ideology within
so
which
you're telling me that
so if you think everything is physical and material, you're going to struggle to find a materialistic causology for why we have this star over here, as opposed to other explanations.
But once you have come to an explanation that fits your observations, shouldn't you generally accept that as the explanation until something else controverts it?
Up to a point, it depends on how circular your reasoning is. If you're like, this has to have some physical cause apart from the spirit or whatever, and it has to be thus, and you make an observation that, confirms your bias, it may be somewhat circular until, like you say, we find other evidence to the contrary. But I would agree with you, yes, up to a point,
yeah.
Yes.
So I think we can just accept that I believe that I observed a physical body in the sky, and you believe magic. So let's move on.
Well, you say magic. I have a problem with that. Magic is anything that's contrary to the will of God, using your will to break.
We're not talking religion here. I'm talking
but that's the thing. We're not doing religion.
Guys, let's not talk over
religion.
Gavel. Gavel,
magic or not.
guys, stop. Both of you, please. No talking over each other. No one can hear what's being said. Furball was trying to respond to your point. Let him finish what he's saying, and then you can respond to that, Lemon Bird. Okay? So go on, Furball.
It is magic because it is things that we completely can't explain, not things that are based on observations.
Gravity is
pure conjecture.
Lemon Bird, let him finish his point, please.
This is pure conjecture. I can tell you the basis for what I believe my observations are without saying, well, maybe it's this.
Well, I mean, unless we've been to these stars and you believe what NASA's saying, which I don't, then what's just conjecture about these stars, buttressed yet again by NASA mythology. NASA is at the helm of this with the control on the rockets, the control on the satellites, the control on the imaging software that filters down to us, and that's the mythology around which we wrap our ethos and our observation.
So imaging software. I want to bring up another thing. You mentioned NASA and their imaging software. This is the full point of one of my videos. So you can't claim that NASA is behind all space imagery. You can say that they're behind the mythology or what we think space is, but you can't claim they're behind everything because there's thousands of telescopes out there. 5, 6, 7 years ago, there was a video podcast that I watched, and once a week they did a bunch of things, and once a week they did a weekly space hangout, a virtual star party. People who had telescopes set up in their backyard connected to their personal computers would take pictures of different things in the sky while hundreds of people would do what we're doing today and see what they're showing us. So this isn't NASA. These are regular people in their backyard. And they looked at an image of one particular galaxy that I think it was M82. I don't remember. It wasn't Andromeda. But they took a picture of that galaxy that day. I mean, it had been taken 2 minutes before, posted on a screen, nothing special. 2 days later, a university was doing observations, and they identified that a supernova had exploded in that galaxy. Made big publications, hit the news, there's a supernova. I went out in my backyard, I looked at that galaxy, and I saw the little dot. The podcast or the series that I had been watching realized, oh crap, we looked at that 2 days before the news release. And they went back in the footage, and the supernova is in their image before NASA had announced it. How is it not a physical, real thing?
Yeah, I'm not saying that there isn't space beyond the dome. I'm just saying that we don't quite know what's up there, and a lot of it is supposition. That's my
Lemon, you don't know what's up there. People who've actually observed and actually done the science. So let's go to. I think we're stuck on this one, and I'm not. I don't want this to turn into a yelling match and people getting screaming at each other. Let's go to NASA for a second.
Past the dome, then it's going to be fake images and mythology essentially.
Based on what? You're just making assumptions. You keep going back.
If there's a dome covering our world, how the hell do we get past it?
But aren't you making the assumption? Sorry. Aren't you making the assumption that there's a dome? Isn't that in itself an assumption?
The dog, air pressure, and the what looks like visible physical architecture up there.
Yes, and I can fill a bottle with all kinds of different gases, and at the end of the day, the pressure on that bottle will be the same. They will stack, but it doesn't matter. The pressure will be the same in the bottle. So that's
in the enclosed bottle.
Yeah, that's your dome.
Hey,
Anyway,
let's go to something that is NASA. Let's talk about the space station for a second. Not what NASA says is up there, because that is filtered through NASA. Every image that comes down is filtered through NASA. You can observe it from the ground. I've seen it myself. I've taken pictures of it myself. I've observed it dozens and dozens of times. What do you think the object is that I'm looking at from the ground?
If it's not orbiting a round ball, it would be orbiting over the flat plane. Do you think you could have seen a satelloon, a holographic projected image? I mean, how conspiratorial do you want to go with that?
That's what I'm asking. A satelloon is something that flat Earth believers think that the satellites are, because there are videos of people in Antarctica and other places launching things under weather balloons, which, by the way, Lemon Bird, I've launched 2 weather balloons, so we can go there. Launching things that look satellite techish, and they launch them up under a balloon. So clearly, since it was done once, that's what everything in the sky is.
Well, I mean,
Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, NASA is like the biggest purchaser of
No.
hydrogen. So it looks like maybe that's what they're using, using it for.
So what did I see from the ground? Now, what I saw, I have pictures. Excuse me.
Well said.
I can post them. I don't think that you're going to see them because you're on your phone. Can you see the presentation at all? If I posted something, would you be able to see it?
Oh, you can screen share. You would be able to see it.
If you want to screen share, I can just switch it over to that.
Yeah.
No porn.
But Lemonbird, can you see the screen? Yeah.
I see the 4 icons for each of us.
That's fine, because I can switch it to the full screen presentation. So do you want to go over to screen sharing now, Firball, and I'll switch it over to that?
Yep.
All right, just click on the screen share icon, and then there we go.
On the presentation, make sure you window capture Discord.
Oh, for the audio?
No, for the video. Because he's going to be screen sharing to Lemon.
He should be able to see just what's on the screen there now.
Can you see what I'm showing, Lemonbird?
I have to screen share so we can see it within Discord. He's on mobile.
Oh, right.
Oh, got to do it. Dang it. Okay. Crap. So, Lemonbird. I'll show everybody else what I've got. Oh, not that. I have taken an image of the space station as it passes in front of the sun. And it looks exactly like what NASA says it looks like. It actually looks like a TIE fighter from Star Wars.
Sorry, Firball, that's an image you've taken?
Yep.
That's incredible, by the way.
Yes, I took this personally.
That is absolutely amazing.
And when I did this, I plotted it, I planned it. Everybody, if you have the capability of doing this, buy a solar filter for your camera. You don't need any specialized equipment. You just need to be able to have some kind of filter on your camera. Go to the website, ISS Transit Finder. I think that's what it is. Put in your spot on the map, and it will tell you every transit within 200 kilometers over the next month. Some of them are solar, some of them are lunar, and you have to be there on the exact second. And my wife can testify to this because I drug her out there when I took this picture with the kids. And the hardest part is finding a clock on your phone that ticks seconds, because it has to be, 1:37 and 12.2 seconds is when it happens. And I set it up, hooked my telescope camera up to the telescope, mashed the button, and I got 5 images. That one and that one. I'm just posting 2 here. I got 5 total images of the space station passing in front of the sun. It looks like the space station. It is the exact shape of the space station. I haven't done it, but other people have taken pictures when other rockets are supposedly resupplying the space station. There's people that have taken images of the shuttle docked to the space station. It is a physical object that is passing in front of the sun. You'd mentioned holograms. Would you say that you think this is a hologram being projected into the sky?
There are various conspiratorial options: a drone, Satelloon, or holographic.
No, wait.
Even attachment to the underside of the dome.
Let's go with a drone for a second. Let's go one by one down these. If it could be a drone, I'll give you that. It could be a drone flying overhead. The problem is that this transit finder will show you every crossing. And remember that the space station is traveling at nearly 25,000 miles an hour.
If you go by math, maybe it's a little bit closer.
Actually, on the southern hemisphere would be farther. We can go there too, because I've done the math on that. I did this a couple days ago, and I'll describe it to you since you probably can't see it.
I can see it in YouTube.
Okay, so this is Transit Finder. And you can see that on the 8th of February, the times are all GMT. So at 20:40 and 23 seconds, at this spot on the ground, the space station is going to pass in front of the sun, and it's going to last for 0.92 seconds. That's how short the transit is. So, look at the time. This is the 8th of February, 2040, 28. Well, in Spain, at 2056:34, 16 minutes later, the same phenomenon happens. So that drone would have to cross the entire Atlantic from Brazil to Spain for this phenomenon to happen. Or there are thousands of drones flying over just for the purpose of faking transits. So you see my point. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. This has to be, if it's a physical object, if it's a satelloon or if it's a drone, that object has to be moving at 25,000 miles an hour, because whatever that object is, in 16 minutes went from Brazil to Spain. And this transit finder is correct, because I know dozens of other people who've done it. And it's not like some big conspiracy agency is out there trying to figure out, okay, you know, Bob from Ohio is going to try and do a transit tomorrow at 9 a.m. We need the plane up there so he can take the picture. Now, if we want to go back to my images, so this is the first transit I did. This was at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I really wish I would have taken a screenshot of my transit finder for this transit. The transit on this one was about a second, and I got 5 pictures. And you can see how the little TIE fighter flies past the sun. The second time I did it was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and my wife wouldn't get out of bed for me, so I went on my own. And it was only like 2 miles away from the house, so it wasn't too bad. But now if you imagine, the sun is on the horizon now. For the space station to physically be between me and the sun, the space station is actually physically farther away as well, because directly overhead is the closest it can be to me. On the horizon, it's farther away from me. I didn't put this together because, you know, I'm a dumb human, and on the transit finder, it told me I had a 4-second transit. Didn't do the math in my head, didn't think about it. I just knew I was going to have 4 whole seconds of the space station transiting in front of the sun. Can you guess what the image looked like, Lemonbird?
A satellite?
What do you think the difference between this image I'm presenting now with a overhead 1-second transit and my second series on the horizon with a 4-second transit? What do you think the difference in the image I saw of the supposed space station was?
It was bigger.
What do you guys think?
You talking about me?
Yeah, what do you think?
Fight, what do you think?
Oh, the second one would have been bigger, right?
No.
I'll admit that I had been distracted for about 1 second there when you asked me the question.
Because it's closer
This
to
is
the
the image.
horizon, isn't it going to be bigger or whatever?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I misunderstood the question myself. I apologize.
The space station is physically farther away from
Yeah,
me.
of course. Sorry,
That's
it's
why
further.
it
Yeah.
had a 4 whole second transit. Can you see it in the image? It's that little guy right there.
Yeah.
At halfway up, and I got 15 pictures this time instead of 5. Here's the second one, and it's down at the bottom. You can barely see it. It took 4 whole seconds to transit. I got 15 total images using the exact same setup, and the space station was itty bitty tiny because it's physically farther away from me. And that matches what you should observe. I just wasn't thinking about it before I went out and did it. So the space station has to be what I'm observing. I'm not saying what's up there. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about what I'm observing has to be a physical thing that is moving at 25,000 miles an hour. Unless it is a hologram or a projection, that you're going to need a lot more science behind to make that claim.
Fair enough.
Would you like it? What topic would you like to pick, Levin? I've picked the last couple.
What else is there?
Can I pick a topic?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Lemonbird, you've been talking about conspiracies. What do you think of anti-vaxxers?
Hey, Pig, no. Pig, no.
Let's
We
not
are
go
flat
there.
earthing.
This is flat Earth, yeah.
What topic would you like to go to, Lemonberg?
Now all he can think about is anti-vax.
Lemonbird, you still there?
Yes.
Yeah. So Thurber was asking you what particular topic on flat Earth you would like to cover now.
The fake looking holographic photos from NASA, where they're floating in space, quote unquote, with harnesses, holographic layering used to make them look like they're handling objects that aren't there. Blow dry your hair, tunnels.
Do you believe that holographic imaging or that layering, is that done live or is that all post?
It can be done live as well.
Yeah, to clarify, I think what Lemonbird's talking about here is augmented reality. Is what he thinks that within whatever's being recorded, they are being directed to interact with 3D objects within a virtual space.
Do you have any basis to show us that augmented reality is actually that good?
Just the YouTube videos, augmented reality, space station.
We're not talking about those because that's what you're trying to debunk. That's what you're trying to talk about. What I'm talking about is outside of that realm, do you have any examples of augmented reality in some other aspect of life that is real time and that is as good as what you think is being done on the space station?
Yeah, we have Hollywood bringing back the digital Carrie Fisher after her timely demise, and it looks very convincing. There's a lot that they can do with these holograms.
That is not live. We're talking
live.
That
shows the capability that they have live or not.
Well, no. And they spend thousands of hours making a movie to do like 10 minutes of scene. That's not the same as just filming something live and making it look like fidelically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also have. We also have the holographic images that are available with Project Bluebeam and with some of the holographs that you see even in China or Japan or whatever. The holographic displays that they have can be pretty convincing.
You're explaining a conspiracy with a conspiracy. I'm not asking for you to explain a conspiracy with a conspiracy from another conspiracy because this isn't conspiracy.
Well, you're assuming that the technology is available and widespread. That may not be the case. A lot of time with the military, they give us their old defunct technology 20 or 30 years after they've been using it. So that would be expected.
The military doesn't use augmented reality. I'm in the military. Why would the military need augmented reality to do like this? What I'm asking you is, do you have any that is not based on another conspiracy that anyone can do live, augmented reality, realistic enough that it looks like what NASA claims is on the space station?
I mean, in everyday life, the only thing are like those little holographic.
That's not as good, though, Lemonbird. That's not the same quality. That is crap. I've done my research on this as well, and I've looked at
your phone.
I mean, I think what Verbal's trying to say here is that the technology that we have available, for instance, you look at Pokemon Go.
Level, that's about it.
Yeah. Pokemon Go is kind of the pinnacle of our real-time augmented reality technology that we have at the moment. No one's going to deny that they're working on this stuff, but what you're saying exists doesn't, and I think Verbal is basically asking for you to provide proof that that kind of technology does exist.
I think the Non Sequitur show recently actually just had an expert in that's worked on a lot of Hollywood movies, and he explained how impossible that is.
Yeah. Sorry, back to you guys.
There was just a video out a couple days ago. Somebody
back on me. So graphic. We can go back to Mike.
Lemonbird, your mic's cutting out there a bit, buddy.
Yeah, interference a bit.
No.
You going through a tunnel or something?
Big, can you call off the Illuminati? I mean, we want to keep talking to him. We don't need to shut him
Sorry, I'll just call the order in. Well, Lemonbird's trying to sort his connection out. Just 2 minutes. Brainy, what do you think of what's been going on so far?
Well, I mean, Lemonbird is trying to justify. I mean, I don't want to try to tear into him, but to make this a 3-on-1.
And why-
But he's trying to justify a lot of his things with just kind of like conjecture and assumptions. Is when he's saying we're the ones assuming, but he's making a lot of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Lemonbird, are you there?
And of course, I was trying to keep that a neutral comment, just because
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a good moderator here.
Pig, do you want to see if you can get Lemonbird back?
I realize I was running something when he was talking there.
Yeah. He did say that he was driving whilst doing this, so yeah, let's hope he hasn't.
off. And life has risks.
We didn't hear shattering glass and squealing tires. So.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hold on, I gotta pick up my phone off the road.
If I can say something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Fable.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the side chat here. I apologize for, I've been kind of in the debate. But if anybody has the means, please reach out. Super chats are appreciated because everything here is going to help Craig while his strike is down. And
Thank you.
while his channel's down and his channel's on strike. So please, if you can help, please help.
Yeah, that's a
Go
good
to
point.
Craig's page, Fight the Flat Earth, and watch his video about the strike, and you'll understand how important this is. So please, if you can, do.
Thanks for that, bud. Appreciate that. Lemonbird, you
Yeah.
there?
He's been removed from the Discord group right now. He might
I'm
have to
working
come
on
back.
it.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
nice.
Popping him in and out.
Add him back in.
Any questions from the chat then now whilst we're getting this sorted? There's been a few super chats. I kind of wanted to go over them at the end.
You can go over them now if you want to, Craig.
Okay, let's have a look at what we've got so far.
No pain, no gain is not a super chat, but he says Lemon must have went off a bridge. That could be possible.
Yeah.
He wasn't using GPS. I saw that in there as well. The ground positioning system.
Oh dear. Right, so super chats from Aphotic New Zealand, $5 says water is the same medium, it's still a gradient. Yeah, I think that's in response to the atmosphere thing, Verbal.
Yeah, you could do that with distilled water.
Yeah, exactly. Next one, it wasn't a super chat, but the Kits and Cavalier asked, can Verbal Pancake, can you show any of your astronomical photos that you've taken? Do you have them available?
Let me see. None of mine are really that good. Got a lot of eclipse photos.
Okay, maybe we could get to having a look at some of those at the end. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Stinger News 1 says, go team cunt. Thanks, Red. Yeah, thank you, Reds, for doing this again. That's brilliant. AJ Ravenwolf for $10 says ... I think that was in response to Lemonbird just blaming everything on NASA.
A lot of silence there.
Yeah. Alchemist says that my ears and nose are bleeding right now. Goodbye, cruel world. A tiny bit of my last will and testament in support of FTFE. Thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. Craig
sorry.
Essex, $10 says, Red Rhetoric, thanks for stepping up and helping FTFE. Yeah, Reds, if you are watching, I know you are. Thank you again very much. Monkey Sage says that you've got a sexy voice. What do you think about that?
He must be talking about Furball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pure lie. Absolute lie.
JC, $2
Can we do
here,
a
Red
mic
and
check?
Craig, for all your great content. Astronomy Live did a $5 super chat, and it is towards Lemonbird. We'll ask him when he gets back in. Astronomy Live and Red's Rhetoric did observations of the ISS together, and it says, explain Red and I measuring the altitude, size, and velocity of the ISS during a lunar transit using parallax and simultaneous observations 1 kilometer apart. Have you seen the...
Magic.
Yeah.
Greg, give me 1 second. Lemonbird, can we do a mic check? And he left.
Lemonbird's obviously having some communication issues.
Yeah. Okay, continue on with the live chats.
Kristen Frost says, been there for less than a minute and already has some palm marl on my face. Yeah, the face palms are strong. We should have said at the beginning of this that you're going to need some kind of face protection. Something ironic, $2 says, FTFE is the hero his family got, not that it needs. Thank you for the Batman reference. Yeah, that's all the super chats for now. When Lemonbird comes back in, we'll ask him about the observation that Red and Astronomy Live did together. Furball, why don't you just show out your channel for a little bit? Tell people about what you're doing.
Yeah. So like I said, my channel is basically educational. That's my goal. Let me go over quick. I'm trying to remember. I don't have a whole lot of videos. As funny as the terrible videos on how terrible the flat Earth is, that's not really what I was up for. Like I did a video on earthquakes and how they work with the ball. And a lot of my videos, I start out with one premise and explore it. Usually I'll get pulled back a little bit and find something like, that doesn't quite match. But then when I dig into it, I find something else that confirms my original belief and adds more evidence to it. Like my first one on earthquakes, I found an earthquake in South America, and you can go to another website that's got all seismic activity across the planet, every seismometer, they're all tied together, and they don't go through NASA first. And I wanted to see how that wave propagated out. Because if you look up at my map up there, if it started in South America, on this map, the last country that should have felt the shock wave would have been Australia. But it's not, because on a globe, it went from here to here as it propagated out. And the one thing I didn't realize, what I hadn't thought of, and actually I do have this. I think I do have this image. I can screen share. Second, I gotta find where I'm at. Window.
I mean, clearly NASA, made those quakes hit when they're supposed to at the right time.
So this is where the earthquake hit, and you can see these degrees out as the wave propagated. And at 100 degrees is when it started hitting Australia, but on that map, it should have been last. And the one thing I didn't think of when I was watching this, here's the entire wave from that earthquake. You can see it go out to 180 degrees. And what I didn't think about is what happens after that. And you can see from this chart, it actually comes back. And at just under 200 minutes later, that original shock wave went all the way around the Earth and came back and kept going out.
They've done the same thing with nuclear tests when they were doing underwater nuclear tests. The Soviets could detect America testing a nuke under the water anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's how they were watching and figuring out all the stuff from North Korea and their test is by using the same method.
Yeah,
now they've got me here in the South. I'm watching for them.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I did some boat observation. I've got a P1000 that I did tell my wife I was going to buy. But I did some observations without it. And here's some things that I did. So this is a ship 5.5 kilometers away, and it's not a shark in the middle of it. That's the propeller on the ship.
No, that's a shark. That's definitely a shark.
11.5 meters high. I go down 6 meters high, and you can see the difference in perspective, which is legitimate here. You can see the background ocean. There you can't. And on my last shot, the propeller disappeared.
It's almost like it's hiding behind something.
Yeah, and that's about 3 feet out of the water. And the Earth curve calculator says I should lose about 1.5 to 2 feet. And then I took this later in the day, and I love the glint in the ocean here because it really makes it stand out. And there's that shark fin again, and you can see a little bit of it still there, but it disappears.
Wow! And what camera is this that we're taking with?
This was with a Nikon D800 with a fixed 300 millimeter lens, but the lens is a crop lens. And I've got a full frame. The D800's a full frame. So this is probably about 450 millimeter focal length.
You cannot show me bendy water. That's all I'm going to say.
Any luck with Lemonbird?
Lemon, could you give us a mic check?
Still just squealing tires.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we hear like bubbles and stuff like that, then maybe it is a.
Yeah, it's the
I
FBI
also
and
did some
CIA.
observations.
Sorry,
I
carry
also
on,
did
bud.
some observations on a plane. I bought a theodolite app again that I didn't tell my wife I paid $10 for. I can do a lot of things in Korea because she's sleeping. I don't want to wake her up. This was a flight back from South Korea to the States that I did about a month and a half ago. You can see eye level at almost 500 feet. Horizon went down a little bit. At 1,000 feet, horizon went down even more. And then at 38,000 feet, it's down a lot. And I've got a video just on this. And the taking off ones, I did this twice, from takeoff to 10,000 feet, and I filmed through my camera with this app the entirety of the takeoff.
And
just
is
so that
that just done with your phone, yeah?
Yeah, that's just done with my phone.
And just an app
And
you
you
can
could
get
argue
from
that
an app store.
Yeah, and you could argue that, okay, this is not accurate, or it's just a phone. Yeah, you're right. There are some internal components to the phone that aren't exact, but what you can also do is you can calibrate and tell your phone what level is. And I've got that on the video as well. So here, when I was up at 38,000 feet, hit the calibrate button, changes screen. It tells you point at your target. I pointed at the horizon, hit the set button, and when I lifted the camera back up, horizon stayed to where I said it was, to where I lied to my phone about. And then when I reset it, it goes back to the phone's internal mechanics. It pops back here.
Wow. So it's reacting to an external force, right? To level itself.
And my wife just texted me saying that to let me know that she's watching.
Oh, so you
So I
busted.
need to stop talking about all the money I'm spending.
The P1000 is over a $1,600 camera. Hello, future mom.
All right, Lemon Bird, you there? Is Lemon Bird even in the Discord, Pig?
Hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Lemon Bird, you back?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
You didn't crash your car?
Bad connection.
Right, good. As long as you didn't crash your car, that's the important thing.
Yep, definitely.
So,
Oh no, I'm good.
I don't know where we left off really. Furbo's just been taking us through some of his observations, which are quite impressive.
We left off on vaccinations.
We're not going to talk about vaccinations, Pig. Stop it.
Heavy metal toxicity might fry your brain. Just be careful.
Okay, that's for another debate, most definitely. But let's just pick it back up. I feel that it's only fair at this point. Lemon Bird maybe asks Furbo a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Right, Lemon Bird, off you go.
What else is there? Could it be possible that stuff isn't disappearing over the curvature of the Earth, but could be disappearing from some sort of optical trick of the eye instead? There's a video of stuff disappearing over flat tables in much a similar way as something would disappear over a flat plane. So is it possible that there's another explanation for why stuff is disappearing behind, quote unquote, the curve?
I would say, yeah, there probably is, depending on the distance and the medium you're looking through. But I don't think you can really equate a table to the distances we're talking about. What specifically would your explanation be for this alternative reason for things disappearing?
Well, if you draw the angle from the eye line of the observer 180 degrees to the flat plane beneath your feet, then if the angle from your eye line up or down is less than the limit of angular resolution, 0.02 degrees or less as it goes in the distance, then an object that's pointing out of the flat plane would appear to go behind a horizon as it goes away from the observer, would it not?
No, I would say it would not, because as the angular resolution gets smaller, it wouldn't disappear behind something. It would just be harder and harder for your eye to resolve.
But
why would it go
on
behind something?
Wouldn't it be treated as a horizon? as it narrows down to a horizon line. It's
not what I
narrowing
would call a
down to some
horizon.
sort of a point. Wouldn't that point be a horizon line on a flat plane, especially with the flat plane below your feet converging up to that point also?
No, it would not be, because I would call that a vanishing point, not a horizon line. A horizon line would be where you can no longer see the ground that's in front of you.
Well, I guess you could link it to something like this. In art class, we see the type of perspective that you're talking about, where it vanishes to a vanishing point in all directions, but that's only if you have 50% above your eye line and 50% below your eye line. For a low observer on the ground, you don't have a 50-50 distribution on, say, a tall building or a mountain. You have something more like 95-5 or even worse than that. So if you want to, take the perfect distribution of 50-50, as something goes away from you, you cut the object down evenly from your eye line. So it would go down 50-50, 40-40, 30-30, 10-10 to 0-0. But for a 95-5 distribution, say if you're low to the ground, it would be something like, 95-5, 93-3, 91-1, and 90-0. And at that point, it would appear to set bottom first as it continues to converge at your eye line, would it not?
No, it wouldn't, because the entire object disappears at the same rate. Your angular resolution, unless a part of that object is physically...
You're not factoring in how low you are to the ground and it disappearing on a fixed elevation. That would not be the behavior expected.
No, it would be the behavior you're expected, unless you're trying to say that an object's angular resolution gets smaller at different rates based upon how far above the ground it is.
Yes, because of your low height. You no longer have an even distribution 50-50 like you're piercing the middle of the object with your eye line.
But there's absolutely no science or mechanics behind that. The entire object disappears due to angular resolution at the same rate. The entire thing gets smaller. Just because of where it's at in your vision doesn't change the fact that the entire thing gets smaller at the same rate. And for it to appear to go behind something, why doesn't the ground have the same issue of its angular resolution getting less so that you can't see the ground?
Converges up at the horizon.
But the horizon dips as you go up.
It doesn't dip. It goes
There's a video
to the eye line of the observer.
Do you want to show those photos again of the horizon dipping?
Yeah, Lemonbird. I've got a video on this. I welcome you.
It appears to dip behind a thickened air column. But if the air column was out of the way, you could probably see even further.
Yeah,
Lemonbird,
shots without refraction.
I'm going to present. I'm going to ask you to look at this, and I will walk you through. And I apologize to the audience now that you're going to see this again. But this is observations again that I made. I personally made these observations. This is not coming from NASA. This is not coming from anything else. This is a theodolite app. The theodolite app uses the internal mechanics of your phone to determine different levels, left and right, forward, back, up and down. This is
Bob,
taking
could you
off...
screen share within OBS for Lemon? Or within Discord?
I can see YouTube, but it's a minute back.
Okay, give me a second. Let me get into the call.
Thank you.
Crap.
Bob, if I saw your comment in there, flat out, he might have been hacked or something. There was a thing saying I like black penises on his video posted on his channel, so we're not sure what happened to him.
Yeah, whatever it is, I genuinely hope he's okay with that regards, because, screwing with people's channels is just a really fucking horrible thing to do. So I might think that Flat Out Hero is a complete dunce, but I really hope that his YouTube channel is secure and he has control of it.
See, I find it hard that can even happen with the authenticities, but that they make us go through the Dexter checks and stuff. And
yeah.
Like my phone tells me when somebody logs.
Yeah, exactly. Right, anyway, back to you guys.
Can you see the image I'm presenting in Discord?
Lemonbird?
I was looking at Discord. Hold on.
I'm screen sharing with you right now.
Oh, on Discord?
Yes.
It's not loading for me on Discord. I don't know why.
Yes, you might have to stop the screen share on Hangouts and then do the screen share on Discord.
Okay.
Well, can we just deal with Lemonbird looking at YouTube? That seemed to work before.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Cancel this thing.
It's a few seconds behind, but it should be all right.
Yeah. So this is a theodolite app. Like I said, what this does is it uses the internal mechanics of your phone to determine level of the phone, and it is meant to measure actual degrees as you're looking up and down. This is a flight I took flying back from South Korea to the States about a month and a half ago, and you can see on takeoff. It's at the horizon, and I will give you, Lemonbird. This is not exact. This is not a precision instrument, but it's pretty close. And as we took off, I filmed this. I have this takeoff twice, 2 separate flights as I was flying home, from takeoff to 10,000 feet, and at I'm clicking the wrong thing. Dang it. Got so many damn windows open, I'm clicking on YouTube to change my screens. Shut up, pig. So this second image, at least now I can see what he's seeing. The second image is at 5,000 feet. And you can see the horizon is lower. And in the entire video, it gets wonky as I'm flying forward because the internal mechanics of the phone get confused by the forward motion of the plane. It's a little weird. So you got to wait till it levels out. And then when the plane dips left and right, it goes wonky again. So in the video, I'm not claiming every image is exact accurate because the plane's moving. But when it settles out, this is at 5,000 feet. And you can see the horizon is farther down. Now, I've got one at 10,000 feet that'll take a second. And just keep your eye on this. And as it switches, you'll see that from 5,000 feet to 10,000 feet, the gap from the center of that theodolite to the horizon doubles because I have doubled my height. And that's because the horizon dips as you get higher.
But the horizon could dip because you're looking through a thickened air column. As you get higher, the air column that you're looking through is going to be wider too. You're going to have two things happening. You're going to be able to describe a wider angle from your eye line, which means you're going to be able to see more for longer, but you're also going to see through a thickened air column, which may make the horizon dip deceptively. Would it not?
But I'm going up into thinner air. Wouldn't that compensate for the lower air's thicker column?
No, you're still looking through a thicker air column regardless. It may be thinner for the same unit of air, but overall it's still way thicker if you're looking through miles and miles and miles of air, refraction, dirty air, or whatever.
So I still don't understand how the thickened air column would cause something to disappear bottom up as it goes over the horizon. And let me go to my last image here. I've got another image at 38,000 feet, and you can see the drastic difference. This isn't looking through thicker air column. The horizon is lower. It's physically lower. And you can angle your phone down and see the degrees of dip that you have to touch it or you have to move it to hit that horizon.
Yeah, for like a person on the ground, you might only...
Thicker air column doesn't explain that. Thicker air column just means it's harder to see something.
Yeah, but it would make you probably get a horizon that stops short of the true horizon because of the thickness of the air column alone.
So what you're claiming, what you would have, and I want you to be firm on this, Lemonbird. In this image, the horizon, the actual horizon where I should be able to see to is the center of this image. That's where the horizon is, but due to thicker air, I can't see it.
That would be
what you're saying.
That would be my contention with refraction and all that, yes.
So in this image, where the reticle is well above the visible horizon, that's actually where the Earth extends out to. So if that's the fact, then why do I see sunlight in that area?
I'd say probably refraction or something. There's probably some weird stuff happening with light.
Or the Earth is a ball. It's easier. I don't have to make assumptions based on it.
It's not a ball based off of laser images
laser experiments, microwave experiments going over miles and miles with hardly any drop, and infrared that looks like it's 1,000 miles of flat land.
But
When you
Jaron
look at the
himself
land,
has proven that it's a
flat.
ball by his own light experiments. Jaron tried to debunk it himself, and he's proved that there was dip and that the Earth curved by his own experimentation.
Who?
And Jaronism.
Yeah, that happened the other day, actually.
Are you referring to the Beyond the Curve documentary?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Jaron was trying to prove that if you lined up several boards long distances apart with holes cut in them at the exact same height off of the physical ground, that you could see a light through all of those holes.
Yeah,
but you
and I talked about this in our debate, Lemonbird, and you did say that you would look at that and, come to a conclusion based on what you saw. Have you actually looked into what that footage was?
I don't think I've seen the one from Beyond the Curve. I saw the one where he has to lift the light higher, and he could see it or something.
Yeah, that was from a documentary called Beyond the Curve or something. I think Goddess Engineer covered a lot of it on his channel. But yeah, that's the same. That's the same thing that we're talking about. So I think Furball's asking you, how is that possible if the Earth is flat?
Probably their incompetence with the instruments. They probably didn't collimate the laser properly.
This didn't involve a laser. This involved pieces of plywood with holes drilled in it at a certain height and a flashlight.
Like a laser light or something, and the light expanded or whatever off a target.
How come every time that there's evidence on our side, it's incorrect or that they've done something wrong, but then whenever somebody makes some sort of conjecture for the flat Earth, it's apparently acceptable? That's the part I have a problem with.
Well, the heart is desperately wicked, but on top of that, we don't see land angling away. We don't see movement.
I have a picture of it right here.
Land objectively falling away.
I have a picture in front of you right now of land
through a thickened air column. Through a thickened air column with refraction, more than likely.
So, Lemonbird, what you're saying is we don't see land falling away. That would make me. But when you show me land falling away, it's the thickened air column, so land can't be falling away. You have an unfalsifiable narrative.
Well, the thing is, it's not accompanied by curvature in the left-right x-axis. It's not accompanied by stuff angling away as you would expect on a curved surface.
I'm showing it.
It's not accompanied by the other things that
front of you
for the model to be correct. You're just showing me that the horizon's lower. That could come from refraction and a thickened air column.
Right. Sorry.
And I'm also showing
can I just interject here?
Go ahead.
Can you give me your definition of refraction, Lemonbird?
The light bends from going through a thick medium of some sort.
In what way
bends
and how?
Bends toward the normal line. If it's more thick, I think it bends downward, but I'd have to look.
Okay, right. Okay, just to be clear, you don't really know what refraction is then.
What is it then?
Well, no. I'm not here to answer questions. I just wanted to clarify that you had an understanding of what refraction is, and I think we just got to that.
Then what's refraction? If
Craig, I would like to make
going through a thicker medium, then what is it?
Sorry, but
Craig, I would like to make one point. Is that you'll notice that I have not made the argument of refraction. That's because I don't know the formulas for refraction to argue them. So I'm not going to make those arguments. The arguments I'm presenting are things that I have experimented with personally and things that I have examined personally. That's why I'm not throwing out those things I don't understand.
With a globe perspective, I come from a flat Earth perspective, and so I have another explanation.
Yeah, but
I come from an evidence perspective.
You're just saying that you don't believe
the globe. Biased by the globe. You have your bias, I have mine. We'll see which one lines up more with reality.
That's kind of a terrible way of looking at it. I mean, you're admitting that you're not going to see the other side.
Yeah, it's called intellectual dishonesty.
I have mine. Maybe we'll meet in the middle.
All right. Anyway,
are there any other areas that you'd like to talk about, Lemonbird?
We hit the main things. How do you have a rainbow without the firmament, I guess you could say. I've heard the globe side say that it's water crystals, but the thing is those not water crystals, I'm sorry, water droplets. But the thing is those water droplets would be turning in the air and you'd have like a disco ball effect.
I can make a rainbow with my hose.
Down. What was that?
I can make a rainbow with my hose, man.
Yeah, outside, but if you try to do the same conditions inside, you need like a black body reflector or a mirror.
I can use a spotlight. As long as you got enough light, you can make a rainbow curve.
Yeah, I guess the main point is with the same conditions outside, you have the dome, but inside you don't have the dome, so you need a reflector or a mirror or something to separate the light and the bands.
Right, okay, let's see what Furball has to say about that.
I have not researched this much, so I can't speak from personal experience, but I have seen videos, because the claim is that you have to have the dome for the refraction to create a rainbow. So if you don't have the dome, it can't be created. The argument is that you can't create a rainbow inside of a building. And I've seen videos of people in their garage creating rainbows with the right angle of light, spritzing water into the air, and there's no dome behind that.
The mirror, but there's a mirror, and there's a reflective body or a mirror inside, even if it's the lens of the camera. The point is, you need some sort of polarizer to separate the light.
You have an unfalsifiable narrative. You have to have a dome to create.
But why is it that under the same conditions inside, you don't get a rainbow without a mirror or some sort of a black body reflector?
I think Furball just said that sorry, I think you misheard what Furball said there. He just said that you can do that without a mirror or reflector.
But he's claiming the mirror is the camera.
Yeah, even I'm a little confused as to what you're saying here, Lemonbird, to be honest.
Again, it's unfalsifiable.
The video that I saw where they duplicated it inside, they had the lens of the camera, which could do some of the polarizing. And in another one, I saw some sort of reflective surface on the ground that could possibly, offer reflection too. There may be other reflectors that aren't being acknowledged.
Done without a dome. The dome isn't there. Your original assertion,
or a mirror.
So then the dome has nothing to do with it. So then what are we arguing?
The dome is the thing doing it outside. Inside, you need something else.
But you know that a domed object doesn't make it's not going to make that rainbow just because the rainbow's got an arc to it. It doesn't mean that that's magically, because the dome has an arc to it in your imagination that suddenly the rainbow should have that shape. It's not really that.
It depends on whether the object is curved that's giving off the light or if it's going through some sort of curved surface. But the polarizer would tend to give shape to the rainbow. When you shine it through a prism, it looks kind of flat. If you shine it through a curved object, it would probably take on the properties of the object and be curved.
So I think I would like to wrap up this assertion with this. That is that outside taking pictures of rainbows is because of the dome and the firmament. Inside taking pictures of rainbows is because of a reflection off the floor, a mirror on the wall. There's absolutely nothing else in the room. Then it's the mirror on the camera. So it's an unfalsifiable narrative. There is absolutely no way to document it.
It's falsifiable on those three levels, so I don't know what you're talking about, but
how could it be falsified? How could I prove?
Check to see if the camera's doing the refracting, the thing on the ground's doing the refracting, or some sort of other mirror inside of the room is doing the refracting. Simple.
But you realize the camera lens acts as our eye, right? I mean, that's why
we have a lens on our eye, and we have a lens on the camera as well.
But then you're just going back to magic. I mean, it's saying that you're going to say what Fouquet says, where you're saying we can't trust our own eyes. That's all I have a problem with.
You're saying we can't trust our own eyes that says it's flat, and we have to go to the scientific priesthood to interpret our senses properly.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to go there because I'm done with
you've
math.
No idea how much that statement just triggered me, Lemonbird, but this isn't my debate, so...
I think that statement is along the lines of, it's not even wrong.
Yeah, it's so wrong, it's not even wrong. Right, what I want to do is I want to start wrapping this up.
Okay.
What I'm going to do now, we'll go over some super chats because there's a couple of questions for you guys both. And then you guys can have like a 5-minute closing argument each. How's that sound? All right, so let me go to...
And I was just going to say, remember everybody, we got 430 people in here.
I saw your comment. You're wrong.
Don't forget to throw some super chats up, get your questions answered, and help.
Yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. Bear with me one sec. Okay. Right, so this was one for you, Lemonbird, from Astronomy Live. Explain when Red's Rhetoric and I measured the altitude, size, and velocity of the ISS during a lunar transit using parallax and simultaneous observations 1 kilometer apart.
No parallax. Parallax can be explained by temperature differences in the air. The parallax differences they record are so minute, they're so subject to human error. You probably saw a pen light that was shining on the underside of the dome, or a drone, or a satelloon, or something else, maybe even an attachment to the underside of the dome.
I can tell you right now, you've just cost Red's Rhetoric a lot of money because he punched his computer when you said that. So I think you need to help out Reds there. Okay, next one.
Give me the call.
Right. Bear with me.
I'm really upset that we didn't get to talk to Flat Out about the vapor dome.
Yeah, I will try and
be so much fun.
If I can get hold of Flat Out, Hero, are you up for still having a go with him, BM Fribble?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I see. I've messaged him. Usually he responds. We talk back and forth quite often, but he hasn't responded since whatever happened to his channel. Yeah, 199 from. I'm sorry if I butcher this. Muyaka Kai 86. I says that we should have brought a salad for all the word salad. Yeah. Ken Schaefer, $20. Cheers to Craig. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Fact-Based Living for $2 says gyros are not rigid in space. Any thoughts on that?
Is that a comment on gyros or not? Is he talking about the food or the mechanical device?
I'm assuming the mechanical device, like, you know, I suppose the claim is that gyroscopes maintain their rigidity in 3D space, and he's saying no.
But they do. That's demonstratable here on Earth, and that's how somebody actually just watched a video a couple days ago that somebody's building a drone, and the only thing he's using for the controls on it are not, what's the technical term for gyros? The wheels for satellites. Basically, it's 2 wheels on the sides of it, and changing those wheels controls the drone.
Yeah.
With no other control in mechanics inside.
Okay.
Reaction wheel, that's what it's called.
Okay. Something Ironic says FTFE needs integrity and right-sized Batman shirt. I think that's an insult against me, and this is Superman. just saying. Like, I know I have Batman. I have a bat suit. You know, I mean, think about it, guys. Have you ever seen me and Batman in the same place at the same time?
And that said, if they're going to make fun of the size of your shirt, I say get a tighter one. They can go to hell.
Well, you've seen my body, surely, on Beaver's videos, right? I've been working hard to get
He's
that.
rippled.
$2 from Anti-Flatter says, can't afford much, but Kiaka FTFE, thank you very much.
Check your message.
Demonic Davros, 10 Australian dollars, another donation from me, thank you. Boaty McBoatface, $6.66. Hashtag Team Cunt. Yeah, thank you. Tiffany Brainer, $9.99, says that not only do you have a good voice, BM, but your face isn't bad either.
Thank you.
Are you blushing?
Maybe a little bit.
Ken Schaefer, $10 in appreciation of verbal service from a vet. $20 from Vic Tunes Entertainment says, I want to know that we're all behind you, Chad. Don't give up. I think I'm Chad. I don't know why, but thank you.
Fucking Chad.
$20 from Robin Ervelina with no message, but thanks very much. Torna Tornagon, $3.49. Keep strong, FTFE. Logic and reason always wins. If only the flat earthers could agree to that. Another $5 from Robin with no message. Thank you again. Sweet
It's
Heathen.
a friend of mine. Thank you, Robin.
Ah, excellent. Sweet Heathen, $5. You rock Reds. Keep up the good work, FTFE. Yeah, again, thank you very much to Reds Rhetoric for doing this. Kiwi H, $2. How do you explain the earthquakes on flat Earth, Lemonbird?
I'd go with the electric universe theory of an electrical phenomenon causing some sort of land reverberation. I ascribe to the biblical flat Earth model with the land on some sort of pillars. So it would probably be pretty stable and sound, and the land would probably go down pretty deep. Okay. So this idea of tectonic plates is a little ridiculous to me.
So not only have you just annoyed and broken Red's computer screen, but every seismologist watching this now needs a new computer as well. Just saying.
Oh, damn. I'm surprised he didn't invoke magic.
$3.99 from Canuck M. It's called Flat Earth Fiction for a reason. $5 from Gregory Schmidt. What the hell is this magical air column you keep talking about, Lemonbird?
As you go up higher, you're seeing further and further. And so, say at ground level, you're only seeing a 6-mile air column out to the 6-mile vanishing point. But up high, you could probably see up to 50 miles and beyond. So you're seeing through a 50-mile air column all of a sudden. So that's probably going to mess with the visual optics.
Okay.
Can you define air column?
The amount of air that you see, that you're seeing through with a direct line of sight before convergence of the flat plane up to your eye line, and stuff gets too narrow in your field of vision.
Remember, class, instead of horizon, say flat plane.
That's right.
So it's a horizon, not a curvizon.
Well, you need to look into the etymology of the word horizon there. Another question for you, Lemonbird, $5 from Gregory Schmidt. Can you explain refraction? I think you covered that, but do you want to just give us your explanation again of what refraction is?
Light goes through, going along on its way, then it hits something thicker and it bends off of its course. That's basically what refraction is. If it's going through, air that's different than the air that it came from, it may bend off its course a little bit slightly and, kind of veer off course. That's, like refraction you see with light going through water. You'll see like a straw kind of split. If you look at a glass of water with a straw in it from the side, that's refraction making the straw appear to split because the light goes through the air and hits the water and kind of bends off to the side, and the image of the straw and the water kind of moves off to the side a little bit. That's refraction in action right there. But in the air, I guess it would be going through an air column with more moisture, less moisture, that sort of thing, kind of sending the light off course a little bit.
Okay. Thing is, that's almost right, and I think with a bit more research, you might get there with that one. $1.99 from Miyakaku86. Again, I'm sorry if I ruined your name. What is it with the flat Earth perspective? Yeah, they call that flurfspective. Another $1 from Robin. I'm sorry if I've missed any of them, guys. Bear with me 2 seconds while I just go back. One sec. Right, okay, yeah, there we go. Next one is $2 from Demonic Davros. Lemon, can you explain redshift without gravity? Do you know what redshift is?
Yeah, it's basically the Doppler effect for light. For sound, Doppler effect is you can yell out of a car, and if the car is approaching you, the sound waves will shorten and compress and get squeezed, and that will imitate a higher frequency sound. So the sound's going to be high pitched, but as the car goes away from you, if you're still yelling, those same waves are going to fatten out and lengthen. And it's going to imitate a longer wavelength of light and longer wavelength of sound, and appear to go down in tone. With light, these light emitting objects that are coming close to us, their light waves will scrunch up and scrunch up toward the blue spectrum of light. And so it'll be blue shifted. But if it's going away from you, it'll lengthen out and shift toward the red spectrum. But the thing is, how do you know if what you're viewing in space isn't just red or blue colored or whatever? As I said before, there's stuff that's red shifted that's in front of blue shifted objects. Basically, stuff that should be further away is closer, and stuff that should be closer is further away. So we don't know if we're looking at stuff that's actually shifting from movement or if it's just, emitting a certain spectra at the time, if it just has a blue or red color. I mean, how are we supposed to know? The light could even be refracting by going through different media, scrunching up or spacing out the light from electrical phenomena. So redshift as a measure of how far these stars are away, how far away these stars are, may be in doubt itself. We may need to look into this a bit further.
Brainy, any thoughts on that?
I'm not as well versed on the redshift stuff, so that's somewhere I haven't put a lot of attention into, to be honest. Sorry, I don't have a lot of input on that.
You are, your explanation of the Doppler effect was pretty much spot on, but then there's a lot of things that you aren't taking into account when you're looking at the redshift of light and things. But I'd like another debate with you at some point and go over some of these. That would be quite fun.
I'd have to about my science a bit.
Okay, next one was from 666 sex from Brainy. Thanks, guys, and thanks to Reds for lending the channel. Again, thank you, Reds, for letting us do this on here. $10 from Blind Artillery Observer. BM, your stat is late. Do you know what that's on about?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Trevor.
Let's see if we've got any more. I think there's one more on there.
And sorry, I haven't had much to input into some of these things. I'm enjoying kind of listening to the debate, and I've
Well, that's kind of our job to be here,
right?
to do that. I think both of us have done well to hold back on a lot of occasions. It's very hard from this side, isn't it?
Well, it is.
So
obviously you want to jump in. Sorry, what was that, Luke?
Am I the best moderator then?
Probably.
Yes, look at pig. Right, I think this one is for you,
Chain
BM. It's $1.99. Why do you? No, sorry, this is for Furball. Not for Furball. This is for Lemon. Sorry. Why do you think that we think Newton and Einstein are gods?
They're pretty smart people. And they came up with a very nice model, good scientists and stuff. But I'm a bit of a godtard, so gotta invite him back in and not make man in his science my god. So smart dudes, but I submit it before God.
Okay, all right. Tony Vadeles, $5. So the sun is 6 miles away if you can't see more than 6 miles through the air column.
You would see up to a point, but from your low height, stuff would disappear bottom first because you only have 6 feet from your eye line down. But from your eye line up, you have infinite, angles that your eyes can make. So you're going to see the top of objects much more than you're going to see the bottom of them over the flat plane if you're too low to the ground.
Furbo, any response to that?
Where does he start?
Yeah, magic.
I know. I'm pretty sure that you would be a Hufflepuff, Lemonbird. I don't know why. You come off as a Hufflepuff to me.
I don't know what that term even means. Is that a British thing, or is it
Harry Potter, dude?
How dare you?
It's a British.
You know what? My wife would have been appalled. She would have come in here and slapped me. She'd have been like, "What the hell? You don't know what a Hufflepuff is?"
€2.99 from Rapid X. Hey man, again, thanks for help on the song. Flat Earthers digging their own graves with their behaviour. Yeah, they always seem to be the ones with the threats of violence and the vile nastiness. I'll call people fucking idiots when they're fucking idiots, but I'm not gonna, do the things that they seem to be doing to us. Ding indeed. $2 from Mr. Unite for the Children. My Dixie wrecked. Okay, thank you. Jesse Zinden Brassard, $1.99. Where's the hammer? The hammer? I don't know.
Thanks, Jess.
Oh, okay.
That's more inside. I'll tell you that story later, Craig.
And that's all the super chats that we've got there. Guys, thank you very much for all the super chats. It's really, really appreciated. I think what we do now is ask you guys for kind of a closing argument. Pancake went first last time, so Furball, do you want to just wrap up for 5 minutes?
Cut it at the end. I'm gonna add something at the end of right at the end.
What was that? Sorry.
I said, don't just cut it off at the end. I was gonna add a link and stuff here at the end for people to go to.
Right. Yeah. No worries.
After.
Right. Yep. Furball, you want to wrap up?
Yeah, Lemon, thank you for engaging. I know this was last minute. We wanted it to be Flat Out Hero, and I still really want to talk with him as well. Thank you for trying to stay on topic. I'm glad that it maintained being cordial. I would
speak with a fellow scientist and stuff.
I encourage you to look into some of the areas that we talked about that you didn't have specific answers for. Specifically, to try to remember the motion of the space station as viewed from the ground, that it can be viewed from two different places within minutes of each other. So it appears to be an object moving. So I would encourage you to evaluate that or dig into your hologram theory and see if you can find evidence of it.
I mean, I do come at this with a little bit of faith, so I will keep the flat in the back of my mind, because to me it just seems so, true as far as I can tell. But I'll try to keep an open mind.
Yeah, just do your own research, and it might something might register, just like I'm doing. I'm doing my own research, and every little investigation I do, I find something that I wasn't expecting, and a lot of times that unexpected thing is like, that's not what's supposed to be happening. So I try and figure out why that was happening. And I'm usually not trying to explain it from a globe Earth perspective. I'm able to explain it from the science I'm seeing around it. So that's what I would encourage you to do. I understand your faith base, your religion. I'm not coming from that perspective, so I'm not going to bash you on that. So glad to talk with you any other time. Don't want to talk about anti-vax. Don't want to talk about all that kind of other crazy stuff.
The rabbit hole is deep, my friend.
Yes, it is. Chill for myself for a second. Please, anybody who thought I did good today, come over and check out my channel. I'm still new. It's only about 2-3 months old. While I'm here in Korea, I'm going to be trying to put out a video every week. So once I get back home, my wife will probably make me slow down on that quite a bit. But come check me out. If you like it, subscribe. I'm not monetized. I'm not anywhere near being monetized. I'm not trying to be monetized. I'm just trying to provide good educational content.
What is this channel's name?
BM Furball Pancake Hero.
Yep. The link will probably can put the link in the description afterwards.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll get Reds to do that for me.
Yeah, thank you to Red for giving Fight the Flat Earth his channel. That very amazing of you to do that. Glad to see that we kind of came together after this terrible thing that happened yesterday. Thanks, Fight the Flat Earth, for hosting, and Brainy for moderating. Look forward to doing this kind of stuff in the future. If you can support, please do. And there's going to be, Brady's going to talk about this, but there's going to be an after show as well with a link in the description if anybody wants to just hang out and chat.
Right. Awesome. Thanks very much.
That's everything for me.
Brilliant. Just before you do your wrap up, Lemonbird, got one more super chat for you from One Nerd VS. $5. Where in scripture is Newton contradicted? Sorry, I'm late.
Newton's theory of the conservation of energy is contradicted with gravitational orbits. Anything that escapes the Earth's orbit at all would just keep flying out into space. There would be no balance. There would be no equilibrium. It's also contradicted with the sun. The sun's heat would make it an expansive force that wouldn't be able to have any gravitation at all. It would just expand outward with the heat, and it wouldn't be able to pull anything in. That's one of many problems with gravity, as far as I can tell. I probably write in an gravitational model or rework gravity with electricity in mind. Gravity is probably due for an update anyway, and invite back in the ether.
Oh my goodness! Just so you know, I'm gonna have a hangover tomorrow because of you. Right. So yeah. Anyway, do you want to give us just a wee 5-minute wrap up of your thoughts?
Yes. This Jesuit deception has been propagated through the schools to turn us into good little atheists, good little cogs of the state that are dependent on science for information like our God instead of depending on the unchanging hand of the Lord our God. We got to join the flat earth to get our real minds back, not the minds that are dependent on the atheist, materialistic, socialist, scientific state that's going to turn us into cold, anti-human machines. But join the flat earth.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, Brainy, you had some stuff you wanted to say before we close out?
Yeah, obviously, I just wanted to jump in, and first, I want to thank same thing everybody's done. I want to thank Red for letting us use his channel. I want to thank you, Fight, and Look at Pigs in the background there. But I want to thank everybody who invited me to help do this. I hope I get another chance again in the future. I'm gonna put a link in the description, everybody, right now. I'll probably spam it a few times. The first one I'm dropping right now is gonna be, just give me a second. That is the Discord for the after show. We go in there and we Lemon Bird. I think that was last night. Even we were in there all piss fitting against each other, talking about anti-vax and stuff like that. So we can go in there and have some fun with each other. Everybody can all yell at each other a little bit. It's actually pretty civil. And then the last link I'm gonna is self promo. Go subscribe to me.
Yeah, definitely.
and also donate to. Make sure if you're not a patron of Fight that you and you want to give them some help, you get in on that, because obviously this porn bombing thing is kind of juvenile, and anybody who's into that, really just screwing with people's channels is stupid. People, whether or not you disagree or with other people or not, people like Fight are using this to help feed his family, and that's just not acceptable.
Lemon, what do you think of the super chat amount of 666 SEC dollars or sex dollars?
I'm getting my rosary and my cross right now, and
we will pray for you, Lemon. We will pray for you.
I knew what he was doing too. I saw that.
Pray in the name of Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Sagan.
Hail Satan.
And I actually, last thing I was going to say too is thank you, Lemon. Last minute. He's. We all, even in the after show there, we beat up on him before and teamed up on him and kind of like, set our stuff against him, and he still shows up and he gets in there and he still debates. So you gotta take your hat off for a guy who's willing to throw himself into the gauntlet and throw down.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks to both you guys, especially Lemon Bird jumping in at last moment again. Brilliant. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Brainy, thank you for joining me to moderate and host. I'd like to do this more with you because I think it's quite fun. I want you to get your beaver latex mask. Get you on camera.
Yeah, I ordered it. It's everybody. I got a beaver latex mask, and I'm gonna probably get a green screen at some point. I'd like to get some live streaming going on for myself. I'm over 1,000 subs. This is the thing. It's like I was telling them last night. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a sex mask. It came from like House of Latex. It didn't say anything about having like smooth lips on it or anything. But there was
used,
like peacocks and everything.
It was fresh out the box.
It's just a mask for when you go to faceless parties where you're naked wearing leather.
So in the future, there may be a little bit more movement on my, instead of just having a little beaver face, you might at times be able to see me, but, not me, maybe. So we'll see.
Again, massive thank you to Reds for letting me use the channel. Porn bombing my stream, it's knocked my channel for 6 for 90 days. I can't stream or anything, so I won't be getting any of the revenue. And that's 80% of the revenue you're going to make on YouTube is from streaming and stuff like that. So this is what I do. This is how I support my family now. And so when that happened, frankly, I started to freak out. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that supported and all the super chats that are going to go to me. It means a lot. And right, anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Join us for the Discord for the after show. And we'll see you soon for another one. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We're living on a disk, floating through space with a tiny sun